Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Community Radio Station will provide you with more information.
I think we're both in the same waiting room.
Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Queen Bree, inviting you to come join me on Clean Greens Living. Broadcasted Tuesdays, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. On Clean Greens Living, we talk farming, community, and ways to being healthy. So come join me and let's discuss ways to create a healthier you and a healthier community.
This is Brenda Charles Edwards, host of Seniors Matter. Join me every week to get information on activities and issues that impact the lives of older adults and their families. That's Seniors Matter every week on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hey, Seattle. Here are some storage tips to love food, stop waste. Onions make potatoes sprout faster. Keep onions away from potatoes. Ripe bananas give off a gas that makes the fruit around them ripen faster. Store bananas away from other fruits. 40% of food in the U.S. goes uneaten. Save money, save food, save the planet. Visit Seattle Public Utilities for more tips.
You're listening to RainierAvenueRadio.org. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram, RainierAvenueRadio.world, and on Twitter at Rainier Ave Radio.
Welcome to a pivotal moment.
Hey, y'all. Hey, this is Dr. Traci Harrell, and I could not be more excited. Yes. We are live right now on Rainier Avenue Radio with Better Together and Living Powerfully. And I have a special guest today. Actually, I think I'm going to have two special guests. We're just going to ease it in. So we're going to start with Bimini. Hey, how are you?
I am wonderful. Hi, so good to be with you.
I love it. You are the founder of the Wholeness Center, and we're both coaches that are part of Positive Intelligence.
Yes, this is
And what I loved about you, you said, like, I started it, and I did it, and I really want more. So you're going back in for a double dose.
Yep, that's exactly it. Double depend. I was like, I need more.
You need more. You need more. I feel like I started this process. First, we're gonna have you introduce yourself. I'm gonna have my producer put us the other way. I don't know. I like it when we have the other view. You are amazing. Share really quick, a quick introduction of yourself. Who are you and why do you do this work? Why are you a coach as well? Who coaches need coaches too, right?
Okay. So yeah, sure. My name is Bimini Piaro. And as you can see, I am the founder of the Wholeness Center, which is a life coaching and wellness company. And why I coach, I started actually getting coaching myself, right? Like I had an experience where I was between jobs and I was feeling stuck and all this stuff. My father just passed away, all these things. And I was introduced to a coach and they came alongside me and accompanied me on like my makeover of my redesign of my next chapter of life. And it was so powerful for me. I'm still benefiting from it today. And so when I had the opportunity to go through a program and become a certified coach myself, I jumped on it. And then when I had the opportunity to do positive intelligence, I was like, yes, absolutely. I love mindfulness. I'm an avid meditator. I belong to a couple of different meditation traditions. So it was kind of like a no-brainer.
I love it. I love it. So when I went to your website, there was a video, and again, people may or may not know what coaching is, but I love how you just said it. Someone goes along with you on a journey to accomplish the goals that you've set out for your life.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
We start with the assumption that you're the expert. You are the expert in you. We have some specific coaching. I call myself a facilitator, transformational coach, a transformational facilitator. We help to facilitate, the transformation. It's a beautiful thing. I think, and when we use positive intelligence, because it's just like an add-on. Whatever you've been trained to do, it's just a nice foundational element that says, wow, you with a deep understanding of this, with a deep application of this, you can build in so many different ways. So just tell us a little bit about when you said you were in a difficult time. I think sometimes we don't really create a space for people to really understand. Your father had passed, you were between jobs. There were some things you wanted. You said you felt stuck. And oftentimes we don't want to stay stuck. But talk a little bit about what stuck feels like and why it was so important to get someone else. But let's just say, what does stuck feel like?
Oh, does stuck feel like? My goodness. Oh my gosh. What does stuck feel like to me, I should say? Because I think I'm even sitting here thinking, I feel like it feels different depending on the times too.
Absolutely.
But what is common for me is just this feeling of I don't know. I don't know. Even if I kind of know what I want to do, I feel like I don't know how I want to do it, but oftentimes I don't know what I want to do. I'm usually several other life circumstances are going on, right? Where I may be feeling some depression. I may be feeling a lot of anxiety or insecurity around a number of things, whether it's financial, whether it's relationship, whether it's literally the place I'm living. There's stuff coming up where I don't feel equipped or necessarily or feel like I have the answer for how to get beyond that. And of course, the answer is within, but I have to connect with that answer. And I have to maybe hear someone else say yeah, you can do it. And whether it's sharing resources or even just encouragement to look for those resources, that helps me shift out of that space. But it's really just this mindset space of just feeling much like the victim. You hear that a lot in PQ, in positive intelligence, but just living fully in that victim space, rather than not necessarily seeing the way out of that just yet. I think to me that's what stuck is.
I love that. Not necessarily seeing the way out. I love that. I love that language. I heard you say anxiety, experiencing insecurity, and typically one or multiple areas of life.
Yes.
And what I love about this is we do things. I'm also a certified success coach, and we do things, and there's all kind of coaching, right? But you've probably heard of the the wheel of life, right? We call it the success wheel of life, right? Where you start with whatever you choose, right? It's a circle. You can draw a cross in the circle, some diagonals. You can measure multiple things, whether it's your physical, your emotional, your financial, your relationships. So you get to kind of decide, where am I?
Yes.
On a scale of 0 being the center, 10 being the edge of that circle. If everything was optimal, then you would look at your life and you'd say, I am at the 12 o'clock, the 6 o'clock, the 3 and the 9, right? If you just have 4 areas for assessing, if everything was perfect, you'd have 4 dots at the 10s, at the edge of the rim, and you're like, I'm good. I don't need coaching in every area.
I'm so good.
I'm good. Step away. Nothing to see here. Keep it moving.
That's where we want to be all the time. And I love that activity. And something I like using it for too is just looking at the comparatively, what is where versus, where am I putting a lot of attention right now? maybe over attention, or maybe it's just enough attention, and what relatively isn't getting enough attention. So I know where I need to put my focus. If I'm feeling drained or like not fulfilled or satisfied, and I'm looking at this wheel, I can see where the attention is needed, right?
Yes.
Just from looking at what is at a 10, what is at a 4, right? And just looking at, does my pie look complete? Where are the pieces missing?
Right. And I think the other thing that assessment allows you to do, and it's just one of many, right? But when you start with something super simple, like where would you like to be? I heard you say sometimes you're not sure about the what or the how. All you know is I'm not optimal. I'm not where I want to be, right? I thought I had some expectations about where I might be, and I'm not there. And I don't necessarily feel optimal. Like I don't necessarily feel like I'm in a place where I'm thriving. And I love that word, right? We want to thrive. So when I identified the Better Together Empowerment Series and the Living Powerfully experience, those are two very different things. But we feel good when we do things together, don't we? Like when
we do. Yes, we do. I'm a strong believer in that. Like accompaniment, like community, that group support, like it just gives you that little extra courage, to do whatever it is.
I mean,
when you
tribal.
Don't feel alone. Yeah,
right? We're tribal beings, right? Humans are tribal. We thrive in community, but it's also scientific, right? You're 500% more likely to complete a task when you do it in community, especially something where you're doing it over time, right? And this is not just about learning a thing, getting some information in your head. It's about showing up differently. It's about aligning what you say with what you do.
Yes.
She's like,
wow.
yes.
So yes, absolutely. That is all of it. That is yes.
yes, and yes, for sure. So now say we're talking to someone who's listening and they're like, well, they're kind of talking about me, right? If they're like this, what I love most about positive intelligence, there's a couple of things, right? Coaching, there's all kind of coaching. What did you like most about positive intelligence as related to not just the saboteurs, which we're going to come back to the saboteurs. What did you love about the sage perspective, this concept that every situation can be turned into a gift or an opportunity? What did you find most? I saw you kind of close your eyes and like,
the sage. Yes. I think it's that. It's what you said. It's like, it's that no matter what, every situation has a gift in there, right? Like, and if you can live in that perspective, like how powerful is that? Like, even when I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily feel great. I can maybe identify what the gift is even before I feel it. You know what I mean? Like I can be like, I know people will say, I know there's a lesson in this, but if I could actually feel, right, like that gratitude for that lesson, right? Like if I can really see how this is it's not like I'm saying lesson as in let me blame myself. Like, well, you shouldn't have done that and you did it. And now you learned your lesson. But it's like, oh, like now I am able to do X, Y, and Z better because of this, right? Like because of this, now I'm going to fix this thing that I would never have seen, this blind spot that I never would have seen otherwise. Like that's something I think about when I think about turning every situation into a gift. Or maybe in a more profound way, sometimes like things happen that force us to stop when otherwise we wouldn't, right? Or leave situations where otherwise we wouldn't, because we're always looking for a good enough reason to, but then sometimes like you just have to just stop. And sometimes it takes that something beyond our control to get us to stop, but then we can then look back and say, yeah, that's a gift. I needed to have left there. I needed to get out of that situation, right? So that's what I love about the sage perspective.
So you basically geared up to actually deliver an outcome that you might not even know exactly how it's going to end, but you know it's going to work out for your good. There's something so powerful. Scientific neuroscience says that if you believe it's going to work out for your good, then you're going to be a lot more creative in helping to figure that out. right? If you believe
Yes.
that this is going to be the worst thing that has ever happened to me, then you can just bottle it up and prepare to let it be the worst thing that's going to ever happen. Like you create the outcomes, right? You create the outcomes. You get to decide what success looks like, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of like that perspective, it's like really no matter what is happening around you, it's how you see it, it's how you experience it. It's the story you tell yourself about what's happening. That's your reality. And that's the power of the sage perspective, is that you get to tell the story, right? In the way that empowers you. And there's a story that Shirzad, who created the positive intelligence program, tells in his story. Do you remember the story?
The stallion story.
The story with the where it's like who
The
knows
stallion story,
good.
I think he
Yes,
calls it.
who know what's good, right? It's like, oh, congratulations, who knows what's good. Oh, you must be so sad, this horrible thing happened to you. Who knows what's good? Like, who knows, right? Like it's always like there's always a next, right? And from any snapshot, it may look like, oh, this is so good, or oh, this is so bad, but everything is constantly changing. And if you remember that, then even the bad stuff you're not so stuck on, because it's like, yeah, it's all working out, right? Like it's all working out. I just don't know the end yet.
I love it. So, I actually take the saboteur assessment. I have other people take the saboteur assessment first. And then I actually have them, we talk about the sage perspective and then the sage superpowers. That story we're talking about is the stallion story, and it's a beautiful story. It's where a man gets a stallion, and they're like, oh, congratulations. So there's a whole series of things that happens with the son, and every time something happens, they're like, oh, congratulations. And then you get to decide if it's something good or bad, right? So it always works out for your good. So I kind of take the stallion story, because in the stallion story they often say, who knows what's good or bad? That's what they say when people are like, congratulations, and I don't say who knows what's good or bad when something that appears to potentially have some negative consequences. I say this too. It's even a more elevated, amplified presence to say that this too is going to work out for my good. So you know what I'm saying? Like the stallion story is beautiful. Because who knows what's going to happen?
Yes.
And it was such a lesson for me. I have a friend of mine who I didn't, my greatest lesson was in thinking I was helping someone with something and creating a space for her to say something or to do something differently, which I thought was aligned with what she said. And it wasn't what she wanted. And so I'm like, in my heart, I'm like, this is going to be helpful. Who am I to say what's going to be helpful for another person, right? So I thought it was so valuable. It was just for me, and it's a lesson that I'm still learning, honestly. But I was like, oh my God, it's so. But what I can say is that whatever is happening, it will work out for my good.
Yes.
I can say for you the same thing. Whatever is happening, it will work out for your good, because there will be a lesson or there will be a blessing, right? And if the lesson is, again, this is scientific. It's the neuroscience. It's the positive psychology. It is proven that if you believe something will work out for your good, you'll create that. But it's also biblical. God said it's gonna work out. So I'm like, look, I can believe that. I can believe that. So I layer in the scientific and the spiritual, and I'm like, there's no place but success. Like success, I get to decide what success looks like, and this is what success looks like and what it feels like to me. I was really excited.
I love that.
Yes, I was excited. She said, always the lesson and the blessing. Y'all better tell the truth. Yes. Always. And it's easy to say. It's easy to say, but it's not always easy to do. And I want to talk a little bit about coaching in a second here, but I just wanted to share a little bit what's happening right now with me, because I kind of over-index. I don't know if you know this, but last year I won this I won this Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award for service. Like I in my heart of hearts, I just want to give, and I mean, like contributing to others, and I had some other people submit. I mean, it was just a beautiful blessing, is what I can say.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
It's a blessing. It was truly a blessing. And somehow in my head, I was like, it's more blessed to give than to receive, right? It's more blessed to help others than to help yourself. And I did not realize until recently that I also must put my mask on. Like it's okay to decide, Tracy, you have a gift, a truly valuable gift. It is okay for me to get paid to deliver these services, right? I got this grant and I want to deliver so much to everyone in community, and people are like, and you're delivering your skills and services. So it's really been a difficult journey for me, to be perfectly honest. But because the house that I live in has been sold, yikes, I have 30 days to find a new place. I'm like, I guarantee I'm thinking very differently. So right? So it could be crazy, but like, oh my God, I probably shouldn't have been doing all that free stuff. I probably should have been activated on some grants and some contracts. I probably should. It's backwards what I should have, could have done. But what I can say is diamonds are built under pressure. So let me put it into the streets, people. Diamonds are built under pressure. So when those things are happening and it's putting you under stress, this is me saying, hey, y'all, I'm not just talking about it. I'm being about it. My little stress, my little pressure, I have no idea where I'm going to be sleeping in 30 days. That's my truth. But guess what? I can guarantee it's going to be exceptional, without a doubt, regardless of what happens. So when I say yay to Tracy and yay to you, that means in the moment you have to show up with that level of integrity and authenticity that says, hey, this too will work out for my good. And you got to say it and believe it.
Yes, it will.
Right?
It will.
You got to. And if you say it, let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm thinking about things so differently now than I would have if there wasn't a little different pressure. Yes, I'm going to still give and I'm still going to support. This is free. We're not going to pay for this. Right? But we want to make sure that our community, I just spoke to someone at my church. We're going to be bringing this for free into community. So there's so many things we're going to do. What motivates you to be about it? Woo! Great question from our audience. So for me, part of this is why I was put on this earth. This is part of my mission. And I know part of the work you do with the Wholeness Center as well. You help people to find their goal. That's what I do. Like, why were you put on this earth? So that coaching helps people to turn their own lights on, help people to walk through life in a way that says, wow, this is so for me. So tell me a little bit about what you would say to someone when they're like, I don't really feel like I know what to do or what my next step is. I'll follow you.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. I was still thinking about that question. What makes you be about it? So, but this question.
No. Answer that one, then go back. Answer that. So, what makes you be about it?
We do both. Yeah. I think what makes it, like, I was literally just talking about this with someone earlier today. Like when I was in school, like my own personal mission statement, Facebook came out, when I was in school. And so when I went on Facebook, I filled out the whole thing and I wrote my little mission statement. And I was like, I had this desire to help move people out of poverty, right? Like I grew up poor. I feel like my goal and desire is to move myself out of poverty and be able to show others how to get there as well. And I think what connects it to me, what coaching connects that to for me is like, it is being able to help other people feel empowered, feel like I can, it's okay for me to dream big. It's okay for me to sit down and think about what it is that I really want. Even if I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there, let me just figure out what it is that I really want first. And that like give that permission to people to do that. But then also like once that is cleared out, it's like, okay, so let's think about the resources that it takes for you to get there. And like feeling that sense of power to be that, oh, if I reach out to so-and-so and just ask the question, they may be able to connect me or be willing to, or shoot, they might just give me advice, but that advice will help me in a way that I didn't know that before. Like it seems so basic, but that's not something that I knew growing up, right? And that's not something I feel like, even when you hear people say it, I don't feel like it's always like deeply felt that it's okay for me to just ask for what I need and want. And so for me, it's like that's the connection. It's like, yes, I can go do acts of services now, but it feels so much more powerful when I can connect with an individual and help them feel their own power. So that's what makes me be about it. Like that feeling when I'm in the room with someone else, in a virtual room or physical room, and I'm asking them questions, and they're just sharing their story, and they're getting light bulb moments, and they're like realizing what they really want to do, whether it be small or big, like in terms of what it's like, I just want to change this small little thing right now in how I let so and so talk to me, or what I say tomorrow in this situation. But you can just feel that sense of like, I have the agency to do that, you know, and I'm really okay regardless of what this outcome is, because this is what I want.
Yeah,
that's what I love.
I love that. Not only am I okay, I'm going to be exceptional. I'm going to be like, this is going to be so much better for me. That's the thing, people.
Exactly.
If you believe, I mean, it's so simple, but it's so profound. It's in the practice, right? 20% of any truly transformational change is in the insight. It's in the information that you get. It's 80% in the practice of. So many people say the things, but then when in the moment they're like, well, I didn't really want to, right? I'm not going to really do what I said. Hey, it's in the doing. It is in the doing that you transform. You know, Michelle Obama's book is called Becoming, ING. This is about living powerfully. You're not done. It's the journey of living powerfully. It's the choices that we make, but it's really the knowing that I can, not only whatever is going to happen. And this is what I love. You don't have to know the full end goal, especially with positive intelligence, with PQ, with this positive intelligence quotient, with this concept. It's about what is the next right step for me. So we practice the pause. You mentioned mindfulness. There's some breathing. There's some activation. There's really a moments where in the middle of what might be perceived as crisis, what might be perceived as anxiety earlier, what might be perceived as insecurity. It's in those moments where you pause. You get to breathe. We were just doing some PQs where you actually can do things as simple as rubbing your tips of your fingers. She's smiling.
Together. I'm over here. We're like, let's do some PQs right now. That's my favorite part. I was telling you.
You were telling me that. Do you want to do a PQ real quick? So it's really, so PQ is PQ means positive intelligence quotient. And a PQ rep, or a positive intelligence rep, is like literally, it could be as little as 10 seconds. And it could be as little as 10 seconds of breathing. But we like to bring in some physical touch. And the fingers are as easy you could do with one hand. Is that what you're doing right now?
That's what I'm doing right now. Just like touching your fingers so like intentionally and slowly that you can literally feel the ridges.
Feel the ridges, the tiny little ridges on one foot. You can do it with two hands, and then you're rubbing your hands, feeling right the ridges, feeling the palm of your hand. You're feeling the sensations in the hand that's moving. Then you're focused on the hand that is big. Literally, that pause, that alone, that is enough. Believe it or not, that is enough to move the control from that fight or flight, that energy of insecurity and anxiety. It goes away because you're breathing. You're being intentional about your breathing. Imagine 4 breaths in, and you're doing something as simple as this. You're just pausing, and you can do it under the table if you're in a meeting and somebody's on your nerve. You're squeezing your toes and getting your shoes.
You can.
Your butt in the seat, right? If you're standing up, you're feeling that, but you're pausing. Yes. You're not allowing yourself to be hijacked, right, by those feelings and by those emotions. So, what were you going to say? Something, Bimini?
I was gonna say, oh God, I was gonna say, did you there's a point where he talks about like the visual PQs and actually PQ repping, as he says that, on like the person in front of you. They're talking to you, just really paying attention to them, really looking at their face, noticing the colors of their eyes, notice the physical details of their features, and really tuning in. You're like, one, they're gonna feel very listened to, very heard, right? But two, you're also calming yourself down. You're getting focused. You're sending them that positive vibe, right? And you're allowing yourself to be fully present in the moment. So it's like you can do visual. You don't even have to, you sneak it in, just stare at them.
Sneak it in. Y'all, we're gonna come back. Looks like we're at break time. We're gonna come back with some more tangible tips on what you can do to truly create the life of your dreams, to truly live powerfully. This is about whole body, wholeness. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This is Traci Harrell. Better Together and Living
to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Don't forget to log on www.rainieravenueradio.world.
We must all remain committed to slow the spread of coronavirus, taking care of ourselves and not putting others in harm's way, especially those already at high risk of getting seriously ill, including people over 65 or those with underlying medical conditions. If you must be out, avoid crowded areas, stay 6 feet or 2 arm lengths away from others, and wear a face covering. Wash hands frequently with soap and water for 20 seconds, especially after being in public spaces. Avoid touching your face, cough or sneeze in a tissue, then throw it away. Disinfect frequently, touch objects, and if you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. Slowing coronavirus means taking care of ourselves while also protecting others. Even if you're not at high risk, these steps should be taken to help slow the spread of coronavirus. We are all in this together.
Rainier Avenue Radio presents All Music, All Day Saturday. Music, all day Saturday.
This is Edward Bailey, Bulldog Blue.
Jazz from the Cabinets.
That's right. It's time once again for Jazz from the Cabinets. Big Pop.
Start Time.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul. This is Start Time.
Saturdays, all music, all day. Reggae hour, K-Fox night.
Looking for the perfect beat? Yeah, it's the beat of the block.
Fresh Juice, D-Money.
Myself, D-Money. Nice size control.
Taylor Hart. Sincere, the Northwest Rap Gang.
DJ Medina. Jackson. Northwest Rap Gang.
Sergio Lacour's Love Line.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Go to the phone line. Tell him who we talking.
C-Monster Radio, Mojang. It's your
Welcome to Mojang Mondays. This is KZ Music Media. Caller Goddess for Mojang Mondays.
Just my God is inspiration all day and all night. Saturday from Rainier Avenue Radio.
This is Mondo Bancaro for Mondo's World. We will be discussing some interesting subjects. Sometimes I might even have some guests. So please listen to my show on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Did you know that there's an updated COVID-19 booster that protects you even more than the original vaccines? Even if you got the first vaccinations, now it's time to get this new updated booster shot. It's especially important for adults 50 and over and people with a compromised immune system. Even though you may not hear about people catching COVID as often, each week in King County, some people even end up in the hospital because of it. So check with your loved ones and make sure they've gotten an updated booster. For more information on where to get a COVID vaccine, including free vaccination resources, visit kingcounty.gov/vaccines. kingcounty.gov/vaccines.
Rainier Avenue Radio is Seattle's best music, talk, and sports station.
Y'all, this is Dr. Traci Harrell, and you're watching Better Together and Living Powerfully. And what I love is we have a special guest today, Bimini. Hello.
Hey. So good to be with you.
First of all, I'm going to have our producer put us in a different view. No. It's fine. He knows which view I like better, but we'll stay here because I think someone else is going to be joining us here shortly, perhaps. But what I wanted to do is we have another question that was in the chat, and so I'm going to go to the chat. Mark actually was asking us. He said, "What would we say to a Black man who's 63, who's not feeling as though who does not connect to feeling motivated. Does not connect to feeling motivated. And there's a couple of things when you think about motivation, right? It is absolutely about the power of the pause. I think I heard you, Bimini, say that the answers are within. So we actually start with, what do you want to accomplish? Like, I like to do visioning. So if we were sitting and if today was December 15th of 2024, we're at the end of the year. Like, what does ideal look like to you? You get people excited. It is the energy around what would excite you, right? You can think about this 3 or 4 different ways, but if you did the simplest thing, it is pause. We're now talking, and it's December 15th. What does success look like to you? For me, there's a financial piece for my life, right? So I would talk to you, Mark, and I'd ask you in those 4 quadrants, right? Personally, professionally, spiritually, as it relates to community, physically, that there's all kind of, really, there's like 24 different elements. But we start with the basics and we just keep going deeper and deeper. What does success look like to you? What is the best year ever? That's what I like to say. Join us to have your best, your most successful, your most powerful year yet. What does that look like? What does it feel like? Which areas of your life, which people are you connecting with more? Are there people in your life that you're not talking to? Would you like to? Are there businesses that you talked about starting and you haven't? Is there weight that you've been saying you want to lose? Y'all, I've lost 33 pounds doing some PQ reps. I swear to God. I swear to God.
Wow.
It works for everything.
I love it.
I swear. I'm now applying it to my budget, which is why I really wanted to say, as of today, I don't have clear solutions about where I'm going to be when I leave. You got to put the truth into the streets, right? Guess what? I am so excited. With that pressure, it's like, oh, I guarantee it's going to be exceptional. It's going to be exceptional. Same with the weight. Like, you get to pause and really be intentional. So that's what we do first. So if you want to go ahead and put it in the chat, Mark, we'll work this out with you right now. That's thing 1. Where would you like to be at the end of the year? For some people, it's like, where would you like to be at the end of the week? Some people are like, I'm in such a moment of crisis. I don't know where I want to be at the end of the day. And so we can work backwards to wherever you are in your life, whatever timeline feels most relevant to you. If someone told you you had 3 days left, 3 weeks left to live, 3 months left to live, 3 years, whatever, right? Whatever is going to be necessary for you to wrap your brain around, this is what I want and I need. And if there's indecision, that's when we go deeper, and it's all within you. So we all have joy. We all have places where we've been happy, right? Yes. Joyful, full of joy. Yes. We tap into that, and then we'll go deeper.
Yeah. I love everything you said. And my first instinct when I read that, Mark, is just curiosity. Like, I'm really curious what you mean by motivated. What when you think about being motivated, what is that? Right? If you were motivated, what would your life look like? What would you be doing? Right? Because I feel that, like, maybe sometimes when we say motivated, we think that it has to be this external goals that are like some huge, big things that other people set for us. But it really, the goal is just like, honestly, being happy. So it's like, what is it that you are wanting, right? To Dr. Traci's point, what are you wanting? What are you still kind of feeling the need in order for you to be fully happy and satisfied? And if you truly have all of that, then that is the most motivated thing in the world, because you just keep doing that, right? Like, if you are living the absolute life that you want to live, then I'm like, that is so perfect. Be happy, keep doing that, because that's literally, to me, that is all the goals, everything that they're about is about getting to that point where you're living the life that you want to live now, right?
I love it. I think part of this is, as well, the thing I love most about this living powerfully experience with positive intelligence. It's with positive intelligence as kind of a baseline, but my next level of coaching, again, I call it transformational inclusive leadership, right? And I build it on this stuff I've done in the past, which was this, I'm certified as a certified success coach as well with Success Magazine. This idea of success, you define what success looks like. So when we say, what if, right, you were writing the story of your life. So male or female, 63, 23, right? It's a different conversation based on where you are, but we're all humans. And so this idea of applying positive intelligence for someone who's 13, 23, 63, 33, it doesn't matter, right? This idea of like our brains work the same way, right? There's this idea of there are saboteurs. There are things that based on, we have various assessments that I would start you with. I'd probably have you do a saboteur assessment to see, are there areas where people get stuck, right? So honestly, I just saw another question. You better go, Mark.
Too. I saw that too. Yes.
We're just letting the conversation flow. So Mark just said, how long did it take for you both to feel as though you were living the life you wanted? Mark, did you hear what I just said? That I'm still figuring it out? Mark.
I thought that was a great question.
Do you understand? I'm figuring it out, but I'm still living the life of my dreams right now because I'm figuring it out, because I have a plan, because I have a process, because I have tools. I was just doing a presentation today. There were like 14 people on the call, and I was actually sharing this mastering of positive intelligence, right? You could go through the basic program, but when you're deep and you've mastered the program, there is something so powerful in your ability to show up 1%. Like, what are you going to do today that's going to help you move towards your goal? The knowledge that is the process, that today I did something today that was aligned with that vision that I have for my future. So when I ask you questions about where you want to go, what you want to do, where you want to be 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years from now, whatever it is, right? Those are goals. That's a vision. Our minds need the vision. And then what's one thing you're going to do today? Just one. That's how you start. And that's a successful day, right? That is a beautifully successful day. Drinking more water if you want to lose weight. Walking to the mailbox, right? Those things truly matter. The difference between someone who's successful and someone who's not, it's like decisions determine your destiny. And it's every decision, right? It is not about, I just, the success is not a destination. It is the journey. So if you believe that your decisions determine your destiny, that's the joy. That's where it is. Right now, I'm living my best life in the middle of shenanigans. I'm still living my best life because I'm also showing up in a way that I know I'm serving others. MLK said anybody can be great because anyone can serve. So when I show up right here, I'm serving mankind, womankind. I am serving. So I feel like, yes, God is going to say, well done, drop the mic. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Tracy is authentic. I got issues, but I'm authentic, showing up because he put me on a path. I have skills, extraordinary skills and tools, and I'm showing up, gifting them to my community. So what is the thing, Mark? One day, there you go. One day at a time, moment by moment. You know how alcoholic, right? Go ahead, my darling.
I was going to say, just seeing, resonating. It's good. Yeah. And I'm resonating both with what you're saying and what I'm reading in the chat here from Mark. And I just have to say, I think for me, you said it right there. It's like, living the life that I want is about authenticity, right? It's not like necessarily like the results that people might like do that checklist. It's about like, am I in this moment able to fully express? Do I feel free to fully express who I am? Do I feel like there's a part of me that I am like hiding away, talking away, cannot fully show for whatever reason? So that is what makes it feel like I am living the life that I want. And I think that is a valid question, right? Like, so if you begin this work or whenever you begin this work again, how long did it take to get to that feeling? Not to the big external results, but to that feeling of I am living authentically. I don't know if I think once you're in the journey, it is a journey that you're always on. But I feel like maybe I first noticed the shift for myself once I started being coached. It was definitely within the 6 months. I was on a 6-month contract, and within the first 3 months, I remember like feeling very, very fearful. Remember, I was between jobs. I'm feeling very, very fearful. There's this job post, and I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get this job or not. I did something for me that was really new at the time. I reached out to somebody that I heard of sometime that was connected to that job in the position in that job that I thought was way beyond me. But I reached out anyway, and they were like, oh, absolutely. Like, hey, we're like interviewing. Can you get your stuff to us like right now? And I remember I was like, yeah, sure. Like, and I talked to my life coach. Like, yeah, sure. And before the interview, I talked to my life coach, and because I literally just got the coach after I lost my job. It was just perfect timing. And I remember going to that interview and leaving being like, I know I got that job. Well, I didn't get that job, but they offered me a job I didn't even know they had, right? Like they reached out, but like that feeling of like, yeah, I was afraid, but I did it anyway. And I was doing what I was going after something I really wanted. Like, and I think that's what now, and then from that moment on, Mark, I started doing something with my coach that I call fear projects. When there was something that made me truly afraid, I was like, okay, we're not going to live in fear. So that's going to become our project, right? We're going to understand what we're afraid of. And then we're going to set the goal for like what it's going to take to accomplish that thing. And then just in the efforts of trying to get there is where the healing happens, right? And then it's no longer this unknown and it's no longer scary. And for me, it is that feeling of like, I'm not hiding from. That is what I describe as like, feeling like I'm living the life that I want. So I feel like I started feeling that within like 3 months of starting my coaching experience. I don't know if that answers your question.
So Mark, part of the beauty, he said, did either of you ever feel alone in your journey? Mark, did you see the name of the title of this show is called It's Better Together. That's why you get a coach, right? It's so much better when we do this work together. So it's the Better Together Empowerment Series. It's about having a truly transformational experience. So the other thing is I mentioned that positive intelligence, which is why I got super excited about this. There's 2 pieces of it, right? There's the scientific elements, right? It's scientifically proven to work. I can give anyone a guarantee that I can help transform their life. Period. People know I show up authentically, right? And then I see one thing you put in there, Mark, and I'm gonna tell you, amen, brother. You said I'm stuck because I'm too busy taking care of and doing for others.
Yes.
It's not always easy to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know that is part of most people who have a loving heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Parents, mothers. I honestly, working mothers are like superheroes in my mind. Whenever I see that one of my friends, she had a child and the child was, a couple of them actually have children that have been, in a little bit of trouble. And I'm like, oh my God. So you're literally, you brought forth life to this human being, right? You are holding it down in your job. You're an entrepreneur or working for someone else, and you're curating a life for this young person so that they can make better decisions. This type of training, learning, coaching is so perfect for young people because it basically creates a space for them to truly, we call it self-mastery, right? So it's really about making choices. And so you do get to choose yourself, Mark. You said you're too busy doing for others. So the first thing I would have you do, go to positiveintelligence.com. This is for Mark and everybody else who's on the line, who's going to watch this recording later. You're going to go to positiveintelligence.com. There's a free survey called, it's like halfway down the page. It's going to be an orange box. Positiveintelligence.com. It basically is the saboteur assessment. It says discover your saboteurs. That's the first thing. Discover your saboteurs. You'll get an email. It has a little box at the bottom that says explore. You can email me for free. I think I put my email address in here. I will give you a free assessment, a free coaching session preview, we call it a little discovery session around those saboteurs. Just seeing them, seeing how your saboteur, Mark, if you're overindulging, it's not nothing wrong with helping other people, but if you're not meeting your own needs, which is what I have done as a pleaser, that's one of our saboteurs, right? Controller, hyperachiever, and a pleaser, and an avoider. Those are my top 4, basically in that order. So, Mark, you probably are a pleaser. just like I was, right? So that means you're helping other people, sometimes to an extreme. That's why they're called saboteurs. Not that helping other people is bad. That's my joy in life. But if you're over helping other people, I've over indexed with helping other people and didn't focus on my own survival, thrival, right? Like God's going to work it out. Yes, he will. Absolutely. So to answer the questions that have been in the chat, really, you get to decide what success looks like. You get to do some assessments around those patterns, the negative patterns, we call them saboteurs, that show up, right? Where you get to see them, pause, do a PQ rep, and then we have some superpowers that you get to replace those habits with. When you're making a choice between, am I going to do A for me, or am I going to do this B, C, D, E, F, and G for someone else? You're allowed to do your A and your B for you. Like, you're allowed to. As a matter of fact, you're going to plan it out so that you're very clear. This is my time. These are my, right? It's the space that I want to thrive. You're nodding your head, Bethany. What do you think?
Just agree. Just so agree. Absolutely. Yeah. I really love that you're sharing that for anyone to take that assessment to really see. And just to add, I love what you're saying about, yes, it's good. A lot of these things are strengths. When they're used extremely, they become saboteur, right? Saboteurs for you. And then sometimes it's like, if you are helping to the point where you're not taking care of yourself, chances are, I don't know your specific situation, but chances are you're helping sometimes where that help is not actually particularly needed. And if you were to pull back a little bit, not completely, but just a little bit at the times where you absolutely needed to do for yourself, there may be an opportunity there for someone else to step in, or that person to step up for themselves. So yeah, absolutely. I think that doing that assessment and learning the lies, he talks about the lies that the saboteurs tell us, right? The things that they tell us, oh, we have to do this, or if I don't do this, no one will like me, the pleaser. They won't like me unless I do all these things, X, Y, and Z for them. For example, like, what is behind the overdoing of these various different things?
I love this so much. Can you believe we've almost been here for an hour? I cannot believe. Mark, if you have any other questions, or anyone else, if you have any other questions, put them in the chat. We are here for you. So, ma'am, there are 3 things. You're going to be back, of course. I welcome you back anytime. This has been fun. Yeah, and you would think we had planned this. We did not plan this. We just show people that are aligned. Right? When we talk about positive intelligence, it's just one of the things. It's one of the tools in our toolbox, but it's a common tool, right? We both want to serve and we want to support others.
Yes.
We want to create a space where we're showing up, right, in our full authentic selves. We want each of you to be able to do that as well. We want you to live powerfully. And ma'am, as it relates to the Wholeness Center, how do people find you? I think we put your website on a few minutes ago. I'll have our producer do that
Absolutely. And if you're on my website, like, one of the first thing you see is like book a free consultation. And from there, I'll have a call with you, usually over Zoom, so we can see each other face to face. But if you're like, no, just call me kind of person, that's okay too. I am also on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm actually, if I may share, launching a thriving pod is what I call it. It's actually not launching, it's launched. Pods are open now, and the entire purpose and goal of it is to help people. It starts with a vision and retreat. We make vision boards, we envision what we want, and then I'll take you from that vision to like your actual goal setting for 12 months. And then we have that the pod aspect is the community of support, peer meetings, similar to positive intelligence pods, where you have the peer support meetings, and then group coaching with me, and also one-on-one coaching, all bundled up together to really help people who are like, okay, I'm really ready for that shift now, to accelerate that process for whatever their personal goal is. So all of that is on my website at the Wholeness Center VA. So, yes,
I love it. Archie, I am so glad you were able to join me today. There's a couple of things that we do want to make sure people are clear on. So, hopefully you're starting this day. And if you've watched me before, then you know, right? It's all about having clear vision on where you want to go. Oh, he's so sweet. So being able to show up, have a clear vision, and then again, do one thing each day that is going to contribute to the goal that you say you want or the outcome that you say you want. Just one thing. It's really in those little steps that people say that, but it really is true. Like I can, testify, right? It really is true. And I think the other thing is when you choose between yourself and others, right? You as a being, and I'm talking to myself too, we must show up for ourselves so that we're creating a space for others to do the same.
The same thing. Yes.
To do the same. We're modeling what it looks like. So when she said, hey, there's going to be some times where I know there's some things that you could choose not to do for someone else, right? It could be like the list goes on, but you get to decide what success looks like. So I think the idea, and I'm talking to myself, showing up for myself, and also being in a space where you truly believe. We started with this, and I'm going to circle back to it. You started smiling, and you were oozing a little bit when you were talking about the stallion story. The stallion story. It's not just the sage perspective that everything can be turned into a gift and an opportunity. It's like no matter what is happening, even if it looks like it could be the worst thing, believe that everything can and will, not maybe, but will. And then you get to activate that with your own sage superpower. So we're here for you, Miss Bimini. What would you say about your own sage superpowers or the stallion story? Like, we're looking ahead into the little steps. I love it. Deciding what success looks like. I love it. You're looking ahead and you're going to be back. Is there one thing that you're working on right now that we can hold you accountable for?
Ooh, yes. Oh, man. So, gosh, I'm just giving all the secrets of positive intelligence away. So when y'all join Dr. Traci, she's just going to be, you're like, oh, I already know the basics. No, I'm kidding. No, something that I am actually, so we mentioned that I'm double dipping. I'm going back and doing the whole pod experience as a client myself again.
Yes.
And what I am really leaning into right now is what he calls self-command, and to the end of like being able to take clear, decisive actions, right? Like, one of my saboteurs used to be the pleaser. It's gone down a lot, but it's still there. It's still there, right? But so getting out of my head and the overthinking that I do around like everything and everybody's feelings, and just like making clear, decisive actions for myself. And to get to that, which he talks about that, but to get to that, what I'm really focusing on is just using the PQ reps to develop that self-command, like command over emotions, command over overthinking, so that I can stay in the moment and stay connected to like the goal for me, and be able to make clear decisions based on that. So that's what y'all can hold me accountable for.
Ooh, I love it. I love it so much. And I mentioned what I'm doing. I'm going to continue to, in a PQ rep, we talked about it's breathing, it's touching, it's looking. I love that you gave the example of you're talking to someone and you're looking. It's like there's three things you're doing with positive intelligence. It's the idea of minimizing your saboteurs. That's why we have you do the saboteur assessment. You're basically activating the power of self-command. It's when you pause, you see something that looks like one of those saboteurs that you identified, you pause, right? You see it, and then you activate this power of self-command. That it sounds so simple because it really is, but you have to do it, and it's the practice of doing it. And then it's in the moment. It really is in the moment. This power of self-command then allows you to activate new sage superpower. So the sage perspective is part of it. It's just assuming that everything's going to work out for your good, right? That every situation can be turned into a gift and an opportunity, but it's also that idea of faith, of having more empathy, having more inquiry. When she said, I just want to ask a few questions, right? You get to inquire, right? Innovate, explore. innovate, navigate, and then you can activate with clarity. So I went through that really quickly, but you guys have heard some of this before. Part of this is about you actually creating a life that allows you to create the life of your dreams. We got 2 more minutes. I'm going to give you one, and I'm going to take one. One tip that you're going to give to people on what they can do to live their best life.
Oh, I love this. Okay, should I go?
Yes.
Okay, my favorite thing to do is sunshine notes. These are literally like, it can be anything. It could be compliments to myself. It could be acknowledgement of what I've accomplished that day. It can be what I heard other people tell me that I did well, or compliments that they give me. But I write it on a little like sticky note or a piece of paper. It doesn't matter. And I have a little jar. It's my sunshine notes jar. And I put that in there. And when I need it, I just go on in there, pick out a sunshine note, or I'll pick out all the sunshine notes, whatever I need. And I look at my sunshine notes, and that shifts my perspective in the moment too. And that's what I really need, is that affirmation or reminder. You can write as many as you want for yourself. Please make yourself a sunshine note jar. Write some sunshine notes to yourself. You're worth it. There are so many sunshiny things about you. So enjoy.
I love it. And my reminder to everyone is just to remember, beliefs. If you believe it, you can achieve it, and your decisions determine your destiny. So in this moment, decide that you're going to absolutely choose one thing that will help you achieve your goals each day. Just one thing. That's it, y'all. We're out of time. So come back next week right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Join us for Better Together and Living Powerfully. Thank you again, Bimini. Thank you, everyone who joined us. And join us again next week. And it looks like you are destined to achieve the life of your dreams. Thanks so much. Bye.
I'm Paul.